Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time in tuning in to another video from Mr. Michael's channel for extraordinary young people just like yourself. And the title of this video is A Guide to Arranging an Argumentative Essay. We are focusing on the CIE O-Level English qualification, and in particular, we are looking at paper 1, task 2, which is composition writing. So what are we going to do during the next 5 to 10 minutes? Well, we're going to start by thinking about what an argumentative essay is. And then after that, we're going to move on to looking at an exam-style argumentative essay question. And the final thing that we're going to do is we're going to think about the structure of an amazing argumentative essay. But the first thing that I want to do is to remind you of the importance of a vocabulary journal. Now, a vocabulary journal is a small book, a booklet, or a notebook, or even just a piece of paper that you take with you wherever you go. And when you come across vocabulary which is interesting or words that you have not previously heard, then you write those words down in your vocabulary journal. Now, when you get a bit of time later in the day, perhaps, then you go to Google or you go to your dictionary or some application on your phone and you check the definition of those words and you write that definition down in your vocabulary journal. And if you want to, the definition can be in your mother tongue, in your first language. That's no problem at all. But what I want you to do is to gradually build up a collection of words that you have not come across before. And slowly but surely, your vocabulary will get bigger and bigger, and you will be able to understand more when you read, and you will be able to say more when you speak. And that will help you with your grade in your O-Level English exam. Now, the reason I mention it at this point is because I have intentionally included some challenging vocabulary in this video. So when you come across a word that you don't understand or that you hadn't previously come across, I want you to pause the video, write it down in your vocabulary journal, and then when you're finished with the video, you can go to Google, you can go to your dictionary and check the definition of it. I think that activity is very important and will help you to improve your vocabulary. So let's move on. An argumentative essay. All of us are familiar with the word argument. And I'm sure that most of you have probably had an argument or two in your life. Now, the definition of an argument, according to the dictionary, is an exchange of opposite views, typically angry or heated. So a heated discussion means there's lots of tension in that interaction. However, an argumentative essay doesn't mean that you're going to have an argument. It means a slightly different thing when we're talking about written argumentative essays. Now, according to the definition, an argumentative essay makes an argument supporting a position on an issue and gives several reasons for doing so. So what an argumentative essay is a way for you to defend your opinion on a particular issue by giving lots of reasons and examples to support your point. Now, something that's very important to remember is that an argumentative essay is not creative writing. I repeat, an argumentative essay is not creative writing. So when you write a story or a narrative, or you write descriptive writing, this is creative. You're creating it in your mind. However, an argumentative essay is not creative writing. It's more like an academic essay that you might produce at university or maybe when you go on to study A-levels. So it's a slightly different type of writing, and we should keep that in mind. So let's have a look at a past exam question. This is a screenshot of the May-June 2018 paper, and it's important to observe that there are 3 different types of questions available for you to answer in section 2 of the writing paper. The first option is description, the second option is argument, and the third option is narrative. So you don't have to answer all of those questions, of course. You just need to choose 1. And I've put a red box around the argumentative essay that we are going to look at for the rest of this video. So here's the question. It says, would you prefer to live in the center of a busy city or in a quiet neighborhood? Give reasons and examples to support your view. And then as regards the length or how much you're expected to write, Cambridge advises you to write between 350 to 500 words. Now, depending upon the size of your handwriting, that's going to be between 2 to 3 sides of A4 paper, maybe more, maybe less, depending upon how big your handwriting is. And you will be awarded marks for accurate use of language and relevant content. There will be other videos available analyzing the mark scheme, how this essay is graded. So look out for those, please. Now, this is the structure that I would recommend for an argumentative essay. At the beginning, as with most pieces of writing, you should have an introductory paragraph. And the most important thing in an argumentative essay is to clearly outline your personal opinion or your argument in the introduction. So, how would you do that? Here's an example. For most people, the attractions of living in a big city would be too much to resist. From enormous shopping malls to more healthcare options, cities have a great deal to offer. However, and perhaps surprisingly, I would much prefer to live in a small suburb. I will now explain the reasons for my decision. Now, you can see in red the opinion of the writer. The writer's me. It's my opinion. So it's very important to put your personal opinion or your argument in the introduction. Make it very clear what your position is. Then, after the introductory paragraph, you need to write at least 2 main body paragraphs. And these main body paragraphs provide reasons and support for your personal opinion or your argument. Now, when you write a main body paragraph, you have to include details and you should include examples. So, here's an example. The paragraph says, one reason why I would prefer to live in a quiet suburb is the lack of traffic. Having visited major cities like Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, I am aware that moving from one place to another in a big city can be extremely stressful. Traveling just a short distance can be time-consuming due to the large quantity of traffic. If I lived in a quiet suburb, it would be far easier to get around. So in this paragraph, I'm explaining my opinion. And you remember that my opinion is I would rather live in a quiet neighborhood than in a busy city. So I've given reasons and I've also given a personal example. Having visited major cities like Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, I have personal experience of how busy major cities can be. Then, and this is often a confusing part of an argumentative essay, the next paragraph should be what's called a counter-argument paragraph. And that paragraph includes one argument against your position, and then you disprove it. So when we say one argument against your position, you put forward a reason why people might disagree with you. Let's have a look at the example. It might become a little bit clearer. Some people argue that living in a major city means that they would have better access to shopping malls and better quality products. So this point that's highlighted in purple disagrees with my own personal opinion. If you remember, I said I would prefer to live in a quiet neighborhood, but this is a reason why it's better to live in a major city. That's what we call the counter-argument. The paragraph continues, this is true to an extent, as there are many shops that do not have branches in smaller towns or suburbs. However, the shops in quiet suburbs are more than sufficient for everyday needs, and should I wish to make a major purchase, I could always travel to a major city. So you can see the sentences highlighted in orange disprove the point that I made in purple. So the counter argument paragraph includes one argument against your position, and then you go on to disprove it by arguing against it. And the final requirement of an argumentative essay is a conclusion. And in the conclusion, all you do is remind the reader of your own personal opinion, the personal opinion that you stated clearly in the introduction. And here's an example. In conclusion, although I acknowledge that there are clear benefits to living in a busy city, such as a wider range of products and more shopping options, I would much prefer to live in a quiet suburb. The lack of traffic suits me better, and I would prefer a slower pace of life. So, to review, this is the structure that I would recommend for an argumentative essay: an introductory paragraph, 2 main body paragraphs, 1 counter-argument paragraph, and 1 conclusion. Now remember that there were some words in my example essay there which were quite challenging. So if you didn't understand everything, part of your homework is to go back and to look at those examples, find the words that you don't understand, and find the definitions, whether that's on Google or in your dictionary. I hope that the video has been beneficial, and I wish you all the best, and I look forward to working with you again soon. Thank you for your time.